Welcome to Down the River Podcast, Episode 8. My name is Landon.
And this is Brent.
And today we're sitting down with Andrew Rowe of Rowe Coffee Co. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great. So if you just want to give us a rundown of what Rowe Coffee Company is all about, what you guys are doing, we'll go from there.
Perfect. So what we are is a coffee catering bar and pop-up bar. We set up at different events, different parties, private, public, all of that right now. Working on, we're about to start the farmer's market. That starts here in the summer. May 19th is when that starts for the outdoor farmer's market.
The bar street?
That's
Yep,
the
Bar Street
one, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Down there we'll be doing cold brew drinks. So that's what we're doing right now. And our last event that we just got finished up with was the TEDx conference here in town. TEDx Fort Wayne is what it was. And that was a phenomenal turnout. But yeah, we're doing different corporate, business, private parties, things like that right now.
So how long have you been doing this for?
So
it still seems fairly new, but it still seems like you're getting a lot of business with it.
Yeah, so we started in 2015 out in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So I started out there, and one thing led to another, and we came out to Fort Wayne. My business partner is from Fort Wayne. His family's all out here, and they decided to be closer to family. So we decided, well, let's look into what Fort Wayne is, and is this a possibility? First, what is Fort Wayne? We had no idea where it was. When we found out how much money is being poured into the city right now and building it up, and you got the riverfront project, you got the landing downtown, all that. Like, let's do it. Let's go. And we jumped, and we've been consistently doing it since last May here in Fort Wayne. Yeah.
So yeah, that's still pretty new and everything. And you're definitely jumping. You're definitely got a head start on this aspect of it.
Yeah, it's perfect timing with all the new stuff that's coming into town. I mean, you got the GE campus, the riverfront development, but you're doing catering.
Yes.
So do you have any thoughts about a brick and mortar building?
Yeah, so that's the goal. That's the 2020 actually is our set goal to get a brick and mortar. What separates us right now is our catering, and we always plan to keep the catering side of it and keep the pop-up bar aspect of it, so that way we can go into the houses and bring the coffee shop to people. But yeah, 2020 is the goal to get a brick and mortar here in Fort Wayne. We just love what's going on downtown. We just want to be in the heart of downtown, and just aid and be a part of the growth of Fort Wayne.
So you said you started in Las Vegas. Where are you originally from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles. Are you from Los Angeles?
I am. I'm from Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I grew up in Los Angeles. That's where we got the idea. As we were starting that, we kind of took a 6-month hiatus. I was asked to go to Alaska if we would help somebody run their coffee shop. And this was in the process of actually us transitioning to Fort Wayne. So we had to stop to help somebody with their business out in Alaska, which was a phenomenal experience. And, it's Alaska. And then came here right after that. But yeah, so I'm from Los Angeles.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So how does the coffee scene differ from the West Coast to good old Fort Wayne?
Different. I'm loving it. We're out there. It was within the first year of us actually launching and starting, probably like 50, 75 new coffee shops had opened up in the area.
Wow. And
that was just, as we kept seeing that, it was one after the other, after the other, after the other. Like, oh my goodness, it feels like we're drowning almost.
Yeah.
So then we get here to Fort Wayne, and we were like, okay, we're going to push hard just like we were out there. And it's been so much easier.
Skyrocketing, the competition is definitely less.
Yes. And what's great out here with the coffee community is that everybody, it's a community.
Right.
Rather than being cutthroat.
Yeah.
Out there this is my business, I do it like this. Out here, it's, I've talked with everybody everywhere out here, and it's so great. Everybody's rooting for each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's such a help. I'll give a story here. We were doing an event at downtown. It was the Shop Small Saturday. Mm-hmm. We had set up down there, and all of a sudden my espresso machine gave out. And that's, you kind of need the espresso machine to make espresso and drinks and coffee. And it went out. We had no idea what was going on. I had to leave my team, and I was like, okay, you guys just make regular coffee, make some hot chocolates if you can. and I'm gonna go see if I can get somebody to help me out. Everybody was sending me here, you can check out this guy, give him a phone number. So it's really cool. Everybody's helping me out. And then I actually stopped over at Utopian.
Yeah.
And Brendan Maxwell is the owner's name. I stopped over there. I was like, okay, I have no idea what to do. Do you have any names? Anybody I can just hit up that might be able to, stop on by? And he's like, I do, but he's not available today. But here's my espresso machine. And he loaded up my car with his equipment, and it's like, you just saved our event because we were just going to have to shut down because we couldn't make any more drinks. So it's really cool just to see and be a part of a community that is so for each other.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like it's not even like a collaboration, it seems like, because collaboration, it seems like, is just two people working together and then they create a product. But it's like there's more of a kind of like a friendship,
Yes.
system behind, like a family system behind the collaboration.
Yeah, I heard one of a barista I know in town, roaster, said all the different events he goes to, latte art throwdowns and cuppings. He said it's like meeting up with his family again. That after being separated for a month or two that it was between events and coming back together, it's like seeing your family again.
Right.
It's really cool.
Have you been to any of those lattes?
I have. I have not competed.
Really cool.
They're so fun. So, and that's another difference from back in LA to here is that it's fun.
Yeah.
Rather than it being like, all right, this is it. This is my art. And if I mess up,
like that's it.
That's it. Here it's, you messed up, and everybody's still having fun.
Yeah,
even when you messed up. That's really cool. Right.
Anything.
And yeah, they're very fun. They're really great.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, that is very cool, though. So, getting back to starting the business, you started in LA, you said?
Yes.
Then you took a little hiatus, did the thing in Alaska.
Yep.
Did you guys start a business plan, come to Fort Wayne, or did you just kind of wing it from the beginning?
Yeah, so a little backstory on that. I had grown up wanting to do something in coffee. I didn't even like coffee before, like real coffee. How it started when I was in high school, what started my coffee drinking was Folgers and a pack of Swiss Miss and making my own mocha out of a Mr. Coffee coffee pot. That was my first love.
Your experimental college one.
Yes. And then from there, my business partner, I met him, and he asked me, so what do you want to do with coffee? I said, well, I want to have a coffee bar. I don't know what that is. I don't even know what that looks like. I'm 19. I don't even know what a business means or a business plan is. And he had space for me to kind of set up just set up a coffee bar at this church that we were part of. And he's like, here, let's see what happens. So I set up a bar. I was serving coffee every week. And it was really the first time of like, wow, I think we could do something with this. And then he approached me and said, I have a guy that does coffee catering. He's in Florida. Let me get you connected with him. As I got talking with that guy, really, really started to, flesh itself out of this could actually be something. And as we got the idea to do catering and pop-up stuff is when we actually sat down and was like, okay, let's put this on paper. What are our goals? What are our financial goals that we need to hit? What do we even need to buy? And how much is that going to be to buy everything? But yeah, so we started with a rough draft of a business plan, and it was the first time I've never taken business classes
Right.
and been to business school. The first time starting something like this. And my first sheet I sent it to he's a guy that's like, yeah, send me anything you have and I'll review it. And he sends it to me. He sends it back and he's like, I don't know if you know what you're getting into. And then we revised it. But yeah, we did numerous business plans and goals and all that before we actually began.
So were you just doing that like one time a week, or was that multiple times a week that you were setting up at the church?
Once a week.
Once a week.
Just
Okay.
once a week.
I just wanted to make that like clear for some people starting a business that
Yeah.
you were literally putting in putting in more time outside of it, but
Yes.
I mean once a week you were sitting down and socializing with the people
Yes.
and everything.
Yep.
So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
For some people that human interaction, and
Yeah.
if somebody knows who you are as a person, they're more likely to buy your product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What helped with that is I started with what I had. I had my own coffee brewing stuff and own coffee equipment that I was brewing my own coffee at home. As I got more involved in coffee and got more educated on it, I had pour overs, I had French presses, all the different manual brew equipment that I could just take anywhere. As long as I had hot water, I could make it. And that was a huge for my business partner. It was a huge push on his part. It's like, just start with what you have. Let's see where we go with that. And from there, that really, I don't know, set the tone for what we're doing now. Like I said earlier, our goal is to have a shop and to have a brick and mortar. But since we don't have that now, what can we be doing? And the catering and the pop-up is what we can be doing now.
Right.
To be doing what we love.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, you started in 2015, and I mean, 3 years in a business, I don't think is nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could definitely the way Fort Wayne's looking and everything, and the way that you guys carry your guys' self, and definitely what I've seen on the Instagram and everything, that
Thank
you
you.
guys have a solid team that, I think you guys will go far in Fort Wayne, especially with your kind of business model. Is there anything that, not any secrets or anything, don't give us any secrets, but is there anything that something that was odd in Los Angeles or Alaska that you feel like you're going to bring into Fort Wayne? Kind of something that's different that you don't usually see?
Yeah. So doing all of that, and you get to experience so many different people who have so many different preferences, and you're doing something that is good, and someone's like, I don't like that at all. And that really makes you let me take a step back here. In Alaska, obviously, the culture out there is very different than Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
It's more of gas station coffee. So you could say we're going to stop off, get the gas station coffee, and we're going to go fishing or go hunting.
Right.
So having to bring in that, a different coffee culture altogether.
Huge city into more
implementing
nature.
Right.
Yeah.
Implementing that into a hunter gatherer, if you want, culture. Was really interesting. So what I was able to take was a modification of what we were doing out in Los Angeles. Was everything by hand. That's huge out there. Craft everything. You got your craft beer, even just the arts even out there. Everything is craft and hand done. To how can we speed that process up from going to Alaska, and how can we spread this or speed this process up and make this more accessible or for more people to enjoy. So I'd say that was a huge takeaway from those two drastically different cultures. Was just lessons on how to run the business a little smoother and how to adapt quickly. But I would say there wasn't any, I don't know, I can't think of anything specifically like unique that I made out there that's not being done out here.
Okay.
It's growing right now here, the coffee culture out here, and just the arts culture out here in general is growing and being built up. So it's really cool to see the forefront of that, and see how their Fort Wayne's becoming a big city feel to it.
Yeah, it definitely is getting that feel with all the the street arts and the stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like the Bar Street Farmers Market. I've never been to it personally, but I actually just moved downtown like 2 blocks from that, and I know my girlfriend's super hype about it, and now she's going to be even more hyped that we have a coffee place that we can go to and buy some coffee before we go. So yeah, that's something that will be cool, and plus you guys will definitely be down there talking to everybody. And whatnot. Do you plan on trying to get on the all year farmers market that they're trying to do at the General Electric building? Have you went over there and seen that building?
I have not. I'm sorry. I went over when they first opened the Electric Works for the I want to say New Year's.
Yeah,
they had there was a party around there. We went over there and that was really cool. So I'd love to get in there, and that would be we've been looking into what it would look like to be a year-round, farmers market, be facing the farmers market year-round. The different difficulties with that being, power supply and, power supply.
Yeah.
That's why the current farmers market is where we're doing just cold brew.
Yeah.
So we're messing around with different recipes and things are coming out. We'll have things in the work here over the next few months that will broaden the menu from just a cold brew or an iced coffee, but having some, I don't know, unique specials
Some
to offer
different-
with that
different quirks
when we don't
that
have
will-
electricity.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're staring. So one thing I did want to bring up is, I wrote it down. On your website, you have great coffee, greater good.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So our slogan is great coffee for the greater good. And what that means is everything that we're doing right now and in our coffee side is everything's done with excellence. You know, we want great coffee. We want to serve a great product that we're proud of. That everything on our menu is something I would drink. So you have a lot of times there's some things on menus and you're like, I don't know, that's not my favorite thing. But what I wanted was to make sure that everything was good. So that means using the farmers. We have the art of farming is a huge one. So we choose roasters that source their beans from ethically sourced. That they're making sure they're ethically sourced. That the farmers are being treated well. That they're grown in the right conditions. Obviously, we don't grow right now,
Right.
but we make sure that that's something that the roasters are a part of, and that the roasters that we're choosing are roasting great coffee. And that's another huge aspect of it. And when we brew it, our end goal for the great coffee side is that if the farmer was to taste that cup of coffee that they had spent all year farming,
That they would appreciate it
Yep.
and like it.
that they would be
everything.
proud of that. And on the greater good side is we're donating 10% of our profits to an organization. Right now, that organization is Charity Water.
Ooh,
Are you familiar with them?
Oh, I love that.
It's so
charity.
good.
They're such a great company.
It's so they're with their mission of just being, getting access to clean water for everybody in the world. And that's just something that, we can definitely get behind that. We're using clean water every day.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part of
Fun
it.
fact with that company, because I've actually done a little bit of research into that company. Their 10% that Rowe Coffee is giving to them, that 10% is going directly into those wells and everything. That company has, I think they have 100 people that pay the salaries of the people working for the charity. So when you donate $1 to them, I think it's like,
It's 100%.
yeah, it's like 99.99% of that
crazy.
dollar
That's insane
goes
in
into
terms of lack of overhead for them.
yeah, because it's all paid, all the overhead's paid for and everything by rich people. Yeah, so another good reason to go with Rowe Coffee is
Come on.
the 10%. Hey, that's a good company, and I appreciate
they're amazing.
that you are doing that with them.
Yeah. So with that is also making sure that our everything that we're using is ethically made, and either biodegradable. It's good for the environment. So all the cups are 100% recyclable, biodegradable that we're using in our lids, our straws, everything that we're using. And then on top of that, we want to make sure that our employees, or at this point, my team is actually a team of volunteers. I have a group of 4 women right now, including my wife and my business partner and his wife, that have just joined us who just want to learn how to make coffee and have joined us, and that's phenomenal. And our goal is to be able to get to a place financially where the barista can have a livable wage being a barista, and that they're treated well and they're treated, with respect.
Right, and they enjoy it, and they enjoy what they
it.
do it.
Yeah. So that's what encompasses great coffee for the greater good. And we want great coffee that's doing good in the world.
Right. I think that's very important too, that you guys are actually selling a product that you guys are making every morning. So you could be like, when I go down to the Bar Street Market, be like, which one do you recommend? Oh, well, here's the one that I drank this morning. I love this.
Yeah.
It's a lighter or whatever, lighter or darker blend, depending on what you had in the morning. And
Yeah.
that's something that I can relate to from you guys. And I don't know, I just think that just puts you guys at an advantage with the market and everything, especially.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the first thing you did when you walked into the room is you said, "Hey, do you guys like coffee? I brought some," and then you made it right in front of us, and you're saying, "This is the blend I've been."
You
drinking."
also said, yeah, this is the one that I've been drinking.
And it was good. It was fantastic.
Good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
I love it.
I drink the worst coffee in the world. Sorry, office managers. It's not that good. So yeah, let's talk coffee now.
Yeah.
So I know there's many ways to make coffee.
Yeah.
What's your preferred method?
Okay, my preferred every morning differs on what coffee I'm drinking.
Okay.
So what I normally go to, my go-to is a pour over. I'll do a pour over every morning. I say it differs. For example, like a Guatemala coffee doesn't taste as good to me as a pour over, but it tastes phenomenal in French press. Just the different qualities that are in each coffee is going to come out differently depending on how you brew it, how much water you have in it, the temperature of the water, grind size, all of it's going to affect it. But typically, my typical is a pour over, is what I use.
Explain the pour over
Yes.
for people who aren't familiar.
A pour over is a manual coffee brew method. Do it by hand. Think of your regular coffee pot. You push the button and the water pours over the grounds. Essentially, I am replacing the coffee pot, and I'm doing it all by hand. I'm pouring the water over the coffee grounds, and it's dripping down into the bottom of my cup. The reason I do it by hand rather than a machine doing it is I get to control. It's all about control.
Where the water's going on the coffee.
Exactly.
Rather than all in the middle, and then you have a big crater in your coffee pot, which I'm sure is not ideal for the taste.
No, not everything's extracted evenly that way. You get a nice cone flavor.
Yeah, when he brought it out, he brought over the pour out, and then the pour over, and then he put a filter in, and then he took water and he put the water across the entire filter, and then he put the coffee in, correct?
Yeah.
And then he poured it evenly around the whole thing. So
the reason I poured the water over the filter is so it rinses out the paper taste. There's paper taste that comes.
Quality here.
Great coffee is what we're going for.
I appreciate it.
you.
I'm not saying that as a joke, but I'm saying that's people wouldn't expect that to go into coffee. I mean, you have the people that go to the coffee shops and everything, and they know.
Yeah.
But some people that are going and just getting the $5 tub don't know that there's this other side.
Yeah. There's even simple things just like at home that you can do to make your coffee even better. Just like that. Just wetting your filter. No matter how cheap, the coffee was that you bought for the office.
You guys are gonna get me.
There's always little things that you can do to tweak it. You can wet the filter. Your coffee's gonna taste better that way. You can even start just pouring a little bit of water over the grounds to begin, and it evens out the bed, and it starts off an extraction that's gonna be more evener. Is evener a word? More even. It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this one person on Instagram that I watch, and every morning he does French press or whatever. So some days he puts his phone on top of the French press and lets it French press down. And then other days he puts like a syrup bottle on it. And is there any ideal method of pressing a French press? Is there does it matter how hard or...
I would say
I don't know if he was just doing it for the Instagram or...
I think just for the Instagram.
Okay, or there was a proper way to...
Everything's going to change your coffee. It's so delicate. Every cup of coffee that you're making or I'm making by hand is so delicate, and anything can change the flavor. So the amount of how fast you're pushing it down versus how slowly can affect the flavor. But it's not something that you're going to notice.
Okay.
Someone that's trained to taste the difference is going to, taste the difference.
I've never used it, and I just thought it was odd that he was using different...
But putting a syrup bottle.
Yeah, it was just he made pancakes and he put it on top of the French press, and it was just going down real slow. And I was like, I wonder if...
That's so funny.
Yeah, I was like...
Because you can just push it slowly.
I didn't know. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
So funny. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and it does make a huge difference. I mean, the coffee you just made for us was fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm used to bad coffee. I mean, I hate to say it. My first coffee experience was coffee made over a campfire in the Boy Scouts. I was like, hey, tiny little kid, do we have hot chocolate? Hot chocolate. And they're like, no, we have coffee. It's black. There's no sugar. You're going to like it. and it was burnt.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Oh yeah.
So if you're used to bad coffee, the second you have good coffee, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah, it changes. Because I think my first time having coffee was freshman year of finals week.
It's always finals week.
And it was, in those big jugs they bring out, and they go, okay, you get like free like 5 cups or something, or 1 cup's free or something like that. And yeah, that's not any good, because that was probably brewed like 5 hours ago, sat in a thing for 5 hours. It's like, yeah, this is good coffee right here.
Gosh.
That's all you know.
That's so funny.
So any of you guys listening that have not had coffee, I definitely recommend going down to the Bar Street Farmers Market. And if you haven't been to that,
Go to that.
Go to that.
Well, especially if you've never had cold brew coffee. I mean, that was a new thing for me.
That's a whole
last year,
different
2 years
world.
ago, maybe.
Yum.
It definitely has
Yeah.
a very different taste.
It's very different.
Coffee.
What makes it?
It doesn't even have like a lot of it doesn't even have like that coffee taste that people are used to.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the acidity's gone.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not brewing it hot. You don't have that acidity that comes out of your coffee with hot water. So it's really great for people who have heartburn or have a hard time with more acidic things. Cold brew works wonders for the caffeine addict.
Do you have it? Not giving away any like trade secrets, but how do you do your cold brew? Because I bought a cheap glass pot, and then it's got a filter in it that you put the coffee in, and then you put the water in it, and then you just let that set for 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
How do you do your?
Yeah. So if I'm just gonna have, I want in the summer morning, a nice cup of cold brew for myself. The day before, I'll put it in what's called an AeroPress. It's a plastic brewing method similar to a French press. But I'll put it in there. I'll grind it fine, more fine than you normally would for a pour over. Think of like salt. Salt. Pour the water in that, stir it up, sit it in the fridge for 16 hours, and after 16 hours, I'll have that cup of cold brew, but I'll dilute it with some water, and it tastes phenomenal every time. So I typically make a concentrate, and then I can add some water to it.
Dilute it down a little bit to not get that stronger taste.
Yeah. Yep. Are you guys familiar with AeroPress at all?
No, I am not.
So it's
I thought I was a decent coffee drinker until today. I'm getting put to.
I'm learning that I'm a caveman. That's all there is to it.
It's a plastic. It's made by the same company that did the Aerobie disc. That's the Frisbee that has no center in it. It's rubber and you throw it.
Oh yeah.
Made by that guy. So super random.
Coffee.
There's like all these different competitions with an AeroPress as well. So people do different, recipes on it and do competitions, and it's really great. Never want to, but they seem really cool, I guess. But what it is, it's 2 parts. One's a plunger that you push the coffee down to come out of the bottom out of a paper filter. So it's a mix between the pour over I did in a French press, where the grounds are soaking in the water. There's a couple different ways to do it. One is having it standing. It's called inverted, where you have it just standing upwards. You're pouring the water on top, cap it, and then you have to flip it. Mm-hmm. And the other is less dangerous, and you don't have to flip it. It's just having it on a cup and pouring the water over it. I have a story with it. Where I'm going with that was the first time I did roasting. I roasted my own coffee at this. I did some coffee training before we actually launched. I wanted to make sure I got professional espresso training. So I flew to Florida, roasted coffee out there as well, came back with like 10 pounds of coffee, and I have a coffee to go kit so I can make coffee on an airplane. And I'm grinding up the coffee. It smells amazing. People are like, wow, that smells so great. What is that? Is that your coffee? Is that the plane coffee? I'm like, no, that's my coffee. I'll give you some if you want. It's like, yeah, I'll take one. I was like, perfect. So I used the dangerous method of the brewing method of the pour over, or the AeroPress. And something with freshly roasted coffee is it's got carbon dioxide in it. And when you pour water over it, it's called the bloom. So it actually will look like it's breathing and will bloom up. And if it's very fresh, it will bloom very quickly. So I have I have it standing inverted. The plunger's at the bottom. Everything's working great, but it starts to bloom. I'm like, oh gosh, it's going to pour over. So, I was like, oh, I'll give it a little bit more space by pulling the plunger out just a little bit, bit further down. And did that, and it exploded everywhere.
No.
All the coffee came out of the bottom. It was all over my clothes. It was hot coffee. It was on the ceiling of the airplane, on the seat in front of me. And the guy next to me was like, "Oh, I'm just glad that didn't get on me." And it's like right there at the line, you know, that the lights are. Yeah. Right there. It was almost hitting him, almost hitting the head in front of me. Anyways, got that all over me.
Was that before or mid-flight?
Oh, that was flying.
Oh. You're at altitude, taking a nap, you wake up to exploding coffee.
Oh, so at that point, the whole plane could smell the coffee, and the flight attendants.
It smells good.
Yes, it did. The flight attendants were like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you burnt?" Like, "No, we're good. We're good." I was like, "If I could just get another cup of water, though, I know what I did wrong."
Let me try this. Let me get this one more try.
And they gave me that look like, "Are you kidding me?"
I got it this time. I promise.
And that was right off the boat from, our, I guess, right on the plane from our...
Don't worry, I just learned this 18 hours ago. I got you guys.
Right? Oh, gosh. So that was a good time. That was a good time.
That's funny. But, all right. We're getting close to the end here. If you just want to go ahead and give our listeners, like, where they can find you, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
Where can they find you at? What platforms?
Mm-hmm. So primarily on Instagram, at Rowe Coffee Co. That's also linked to our Facebook. We're working on getting that a little bit more managed, but Facebook, Rowe Coffee Co. Not really Twitter. Every once in a while we'll have something on there, but definitely check out Instagram. Check out the stories on there. Always posting something of every event. We always got something going on there. And then our website also has a lot of good information, brew guides on if you want to learn how to brew different. It's even got conversions. So if you're using a tablespoon, how to convert that from, using a scale like I was earlier here. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook, where you can find us.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool pictures too. So it's not.
Thank you.
You're not just gonna get. It's not like one of those ad companies where it's just like, buy my product. Here's our product. Here's our new product. They have like cool pictures. It's a cool sense.
Thank you. Worked very hard on that aesthetic.
Very LA sense. I get that. But it's nice. It's nice. I definitely gave them a follow on my personal account just because they're nice pictures.
Thank you.
I don't have an Instagram.
Oh,
I'll get on the wipes.
We're gonna have to change that
someday.
But yeah, if you guys are listening to this now, definitely look up in the description of this video on Facebook. If our listeners on YouTube, look in the description below. We're going to have all the links to their Instagram and their website and everything. So make sure you definitely check those out. Or if you are in the Fort Wayne area and looking to cater for coffee, or if you're down at the market, definitely check out their spot down there.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Loved having you, Andrew.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely thanks for the coffee.
Yeah.
Anytime. You know where to find me.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. I hope you really, really loved it. You guys know we are trying to bring our best to the podcast. So whether you are walking your dog, traveling to or from work, or just cleaning the house, I hope this brought just a little bit of value to your day. Since we are new, it would be greatly appreciated if you could share this or just tell a friend about us. Thank you guys.